The movie starts right after Halloween 2018 that if you didn't watch, here's the recap because otherwise you won't understand a damn thing, okay?
Oh, okay.
Now we meet Allison's boyfriend, who, if you don't remember, his name is Cameron, and apparently after the Halloween party, he's looking for his friend, which by this point isn't going to find him because he was already killed by Michael Myers in the previous movie. And on top of that, he later finds cop Frank Hawkins, who is also dead on the street from the previous movie. Well, actually,
He's alive!
So he calls for help, and apparently our cop protagonist is going to last a couple more movies. Meanwhile, in a flashback, we go back to 1978 when Hawkins was a young cop, and yes, I had to look him up because I saw a familiar face and the actor is the same as the one in Project X. Anyway, Hawkins is chasing Michael Myers with a couple of other cops until at one point he's left with only one of his buddies, and there he tells him that as a kid, he was friends with Michael, and apparently he was a normal kid who kept staring through the window of his house until one day he snapped and ended up murdering his sister. Somewhere else, but still in 1978, there's a boy named Lonnie who apparently appeared in the first movie, but this doesn't matter much. What matters is that at one point this boy is left alone. Apparently he hasn't learned to walk yet, and that's when Michael Myers appears. But in the end he doesn't kill him, and there appear the two cops to tell him to go home. After that, the officers enter the house where Michael killed his sister. They hear noises, go upstairs, and I don't know why they separate, until at one point the other cop stares at the window where Michael used to look out at when he was
Oh, shit!
There, Michael attacks him. Hawkins tries to defend his buddy, but ends up shooting his friend by mistake. Then the police arrive, arrest Michael, and now the movie begins. That's why today on the Summarizer, Halloween kills. Back at Halloween night 2018, we meet this couple of characters that aren't even worth knowing their names. The ones that are worth knowing are these other four characters who are apparently Laurie's friends, and they are Tommy, who is the boy that Laurie was taking care of 40 years ago when she was working as a babysitter the night Michael attacked them during the first movie, Marion Chambers, who seems to have survived an assault with him, this woman named Lindsay, who apparently her babysitter was executed that same night, and finally Lonnie Elam, who is the boy in the intro who survived a face-to-face encounter with Michael and who's also now Cameron's father. At one point in the night, they toast Laurie, not knowing that at that very moment she was going to the hospital after her house caught on fire. But that's when we find out that a bunch of firefighters are going to the house. These guys go into turn off the gas, but one of them falls into the basement, and that's when Michael Myers shows up to kill a bunch of innocent firemen. After that, they take Laurie to the hospital because she lost a lot of blood. However, she is later operated on, she survives, and everyone is fine, including her daughter Karen and granddaughter Allison. No one cares about Laurie's health though. What matters is that Michael keeps doing what he likes to do most, killing people for no reason on Halloween night. So he breaks into the house of some of Laurie's neighbors, who hearing some strange noises in the bathroom, and they have the best quote of the movie.
There's a big fella in our bathroom, and he's wearing a monster mask. Oh, what the fuck does he want? Who gives a shit? Call the cops!
But there, Michael attacks and kills him first, and finally kills his wife, who doesn't even try to escape. Back at the bar, Cameron calls his father to tell him that he found the cop and that we already saw. They take the cop into the ambulance, and Lonnie goes to help his son. There, everyone starts to receive news of the murders, and on TV we find out that apparently there are two patients at the hospital who are missing. Oh, and also on TV, it's Julian from the previous movie.
Oh, shit!
At one point, the couple's about to go home, but there's someone inside their car, and when everyone in the bar comes out to kill him thinking it was Michael, the guy escapes, and we find out that it was actually the other patient who escaped from the bus. Meanwhile, in the house where Michael used to live, now there are two guys named John, who I bet my 2,000 subscribers that they die in the course of the movie. The point is that some kids try to play a prank on them, and they steal all their candy, but they still end up running away when they are told that it's Michael Myers' old house, and that anyone who enters will be killed. But what happens in this house still doesn't matter. What does matter is that at the hospital, the cops start asking Allison and Karen some questions, until at one point they tell them the truth about Michael.
Michael Myers is alive.
What?
At that moment, Cameron also appears to tell her that his father is putting together groups to go out and kill Michael, but her mother tells her to stop the bullshit and stay there to take care of her grandmother who's recovering from surgery. Still, she does what any teenager in that situation would do: ignore her mother, leave her grandmother to die alone, and go out to kill Michael Myers. So she leaves her a knife and goes the fuck off. Meanwhile, Lonnie is joined by all the characters that were in the bar plus the two teenagers. So they grab a couple of rather disappointing guns and split up into groups to patrol the town looking for Michael. At one point, Lindsay goes down alone to tell some kids to go home, but they don't want to leave because a friend is missing. But their friend's mask is with Michael, so I guess there's one more kill to count. And then at one point, he jumps on the top of the car where the other three characters are. The old woman shoots at him, but she has no bullets and ends up killing the two of them. And if you thought that the older woman was stupid, it's because you didn't see what this other woman does.
Stupid or something.
There, the other woman hits him with a bag of bricks, but it doesn't do shit to him, so she tries to pull his mask off, and with that, she manages to escape. And although at one point she hides, and it seems that Michael's about to discover her, I don't know how, but she manages to survive. Somewhere else, Allison and the rest are still driving around, and they see that Tommy found Lindsay's car full of blood. They go down to look for them, but find the three bodies, and apparently the only survivor was Lindsay. Back in the hospital, Laurie wakes up, but her daughter dumps the knife, and the old woman still believes that Michael Myers is dead. There also appears the policeman Frank, and they start talking about when they were young and a lot of things that nobody cares about. The only thing that matters is that at one point Tommy shows up and tells Laurie that Michael is alive and killed a bunch of people. So the old lady shoots herself with something for the pain and goes looking for Michael, because she says the only way to kill him is for her to be the one. And now finally she grabs the knife, which I don't know how she knew was there because she had never seen it before. Meanwhile, in Michael's old house, the two Johns are still alive, but not for long, because at one point someone knocks on the door, and when they go to see, someone enters through the back door. And I don't know why they go to look for Michael separately. They look for him all over the house and nothing happens for a long time, though we all know that these two will die for sure. Michael. Back at the hospital, the patient who escaped from the bus shows up, but people think it's Michael and they all start chasing him through the hospital hallways. And pay attention, because I've seen a lot of movies, but I've never seen a hospital as chaotic as this one. At one point, Karen goes after this guy, tells him she knows he's not Michael Myers and she's not gonna hurt him. But instead of telling people that this guy is not the person they're looking for, she locks him in the hallway. And I don't know why, but for 10 minutes we're watching whether or not people kill this guy. And no one really gives a shit. We all want to see the real Michael. So to sum it up, the old man ends up suiciding by jumping out the window. And I guess the moral of this 15 minutes of the movie is that people turned into monsters or something? I don't know, and nobody cares either.
Nobody cares.
Meanwhile, in a flashback, we are shown the night Hawkins unintentionally killed his partner, and how one of the cops helped him to make it look like his partner shot himself by accident. But what matters is that after Frank tells her that it was the doctor who led Michael to Laurie's house, and that it wasn't really him, the one looking for her, and also they realize that when he was a kid, Michael was always looking through a window and that his partner died when he stood in that same spot, concluding that for an instance before his death, he knew Michael wasn't looking out, but he was looking himself at the reflection. And that finally nobody knows what motivates him to kill, but Frank always believed that he wants one thing.
He wants one thing.
What one thing?
No idea.
Because the scene ends there and they never make it clear in the whole movie. Going back to the three other main characters, Lonnie grabs a map and discovers that Michael's path is always the same. He hides, goes out to kill, and finally returns home. So they decide to go look for him there. And even though Allison says they should stick together, Lonnie gets the bright idea to go in the house alone. But literally 2 seconds after he enters, a gunshot is heard and the two teens go in to help. There they start to walk upstairs, find find the dead Johns, and look at this because it's incredible. Allison stays 2 minutes alone just watching the corpses while her boyfriend goes back to look for his father. And then Michael attacks him, and though she tries to help him, she ends up falling down the stairs and hurting her leg. And now finally Michael kills Cameron. But when he's about to kill Allison, her mother appears to save her. There she takes off his mask and Michael starts to chase her down the street, where all the neighbors are waiting for him to finally kill Michael Myers once and for all. Finally, Tommy tells Karen to go with his daughter and that he's going to take care of him. But before she leaves, she stabs him one last time, and now it looks like Michael Myers is dead. After that, Laurie starts talking about the true curse of Michael, because apparently he's not a mortal man, and the more he kills, the more he transcends to something impossible to defeat. And apparently he feeds on fear and the evilness of people, or something like that, coming to the conclusion that he cannot be defeated with brute force. So now Michael Myers comes back to life to kill all those who tried to assassinate him. After that, Karen goes up to see through that window to realize that he's in the back and to become the last death of the movie.
What?
And with that strange ending, ends Halloween Kills. Comment which Halloween series or movie you'd like me to summarize for this Halloween month's videos. See you later.
Go to work.
Okay. Bye.